welcome back to Counter Monkey. I initially started this review on one of my biggest pet peeves as a dungeon master, and that is really hard to read dice. That's one of my biggest problems was when you got players gathered around a table, everyone brings their own dice. And so you've always got these players at the far end of the table, and they would bring these dice. You got these dice all the way over here. Now imagine that you're over there, and I roll this die, and now I go 17. And you gotta like you're reading this die over here, and yeah, you just gotta take my word for it. No, I'm not accusing you of cheating, but you'd like to be able to see over here like what you rolled at a glance, you know. So it's just a matter of convenience, right? And you know, people would like just to know, everyone's curious. Whenever anyone makes a roll, everyone kind of looks over and they want to see, right? So, and actually, sometimes it's a real problem for the person making the roll to read their own dice. So, you know, it really is a problem sometimes for that person. So, I'm going to get into that, but then I realized, you know, I've got all these crazy dice here. And you know, over the years, I've acquired a special set of skills and a very special set of dice. And trust me, if you've been role-playing for a long time, you know, this is pretty much all the dice I have, and I've gotten rid of a lot of them. But, you know, if you're a major role player, if you know, like, a really serious role player, this isn't shit. You know, this is nothing. And I know people who bring all their dice with them, and you know, this is nothing. This is the only dice I bring around with me. This is maybe like I don't know, like maybe 30 dice, and this is my dice bag. You know, it's changed over the years, but this is the dice bag I've used for like probably like 10 years. This is the dice bag that real gamers use. This is the dice bag for OGs, right here. This is a Crown Royal bag. This is the shit, okay? Some people use, like, chainmail dice bags, or, like, some people, like, go to, like, game stores and they get, like, these velvet dice bags and stuff like that. I never liked those. I hate the way, like, that velvet feels. I never liked that. No, this is the stuff right here, and it just feels right, you know? There's something about this. And I'll show you what my dice bag looks like in a second. But yeah, I'm going to show you those really hard to read dice. I've actually got a set of the ones that piss me off most. So let me cut to a kind of a close-up of the dice that make me the maddest. And then I found some sets online that are really new, actually, that I would kill you if you brought these dice to my table. I would like reach over the table and kill you dead if you brought these. So let me show you those dice, and I will actually give you kind of an introduction to what kind of dice are used in games. And some of the dice, I didn't even know. I found these dice as kind of shopping around. I don't even know what some of these dice are for. So I'm going to be exploring with some of you, and you got to tell me in some cases what these are for. And some of these dice are actually, I found, really useful. Like, I found some that I'm going to use. And I even made up some uses for some of these. So, hey, let's dive into some of these dice, man. I'm excited. All right, this is my dice bag, my bag of weapons. Okay, so I'm going to dump these out. You finally get to see the dice I use when I roleplay. So right away you're going to notice that my dice are all really fucking ugly. There's a reason for that, and I gave this speech at Con Bravo, which was a convention in Canada, so you'll excuse me if I give it again. So some of you didn't hear this one. The reason they're ugly is because there's a special company that makes them. They're called Game Science, and they have sharp edges, the same reason that casino dice have sharp edges. And that's to ensure that they are fair, or more fair than most other dice that you would buy in like a game store. So most dice are not, strictly speaking, as fair. So like the normal dice you would buy have more rounded edges because they put them in a rock tumbler to make them smoother. This makes them less balanced, strictly speaking, because they don't tumble evenly. So you're more likely to get, percentage speaking, on a very slim scale, they tend to favor one side more than the other, very, very, very infinitesimally. And it does, it really doesn't matter on a grand scale, but that's the reason you tend to get quote-unquote lucky dice. Sometimes over the long course of things, sometimes they tend to favor one side more than the other, over time. So that's why you might tend to get lucky dice. And strangely enough, this is one of the more old school dice. Some in the older cases they had these, way back in the day. The D&D dice were made of this really, really soft plastic, and you had to ink the numbers in yourself. Actually, some game science dice you still do. Like you have the option of inking them in yourself, but that you can get them shipped with ink. But these dice, the really, really old school dice, were made of this really soft plastic. And my older brother had these as well, and he played D&D so much that the dice themselves, the corners would really easily wear down. And these weren't made like casino dice. These weren't exactly like really, really science precision dice. But these dice oftentimes would be played so much you couldn't get these dice. They weren't really widely available. You didn't really have these game stores all over the place. You couldn't go online. These were really kind of arcane dice. Pardon the partial pun there. So these dice would wear down into like balls. They would kind of become rounded down. So you really would have these dice that oftentimes would kind of become loaded dice to a degree and become almost trick dice. So this die in particular is kind of an antique, and it's still in pretty good shape. So I kind of use this when I'm feeling retro. So yeah, a lot of these dice are game science dice. This is 100-sided dice, and I never use this. I keep this. This die is useless. It's actually kind of hard to see, and I don't know if the autofocus is picking this up. It's actually really hard to see in real life. Actually, you'll notice there's numbers all over it. And as it would be. It looks like the fucking Death Star, but with 100 numbers on it. And it's ridiculous. It really is like a golf ball, And so when you roll it, this is one of those dice that it's just maddening. Even when you're rolling it, the person rolling it can't tell what you just rolled. So like when you roll it, you roll this thing and it settles on a number, and then you have to. You have to look, you have to get over it, and then you look straight down at it, and you're like, 4, I think. Yeah, I think it's 4. So, it's one of those dice that you're the person rolling it, and it takes you 10 seconds to figure out what the fuck you rolled. So, okay, so now the question is, why would you need to roll 100-sided dice? I'm going to tell you what you would need to, because some of you may not know what you need to roll a 100-sided die for. For percentages. So, like, if the DM tells you, like, I want to jump across this canyon or something like that, the DM says, well, you have a 25% chance to do that. That's why you need to roll 100-sided dice. So you would roll this, for instance, and if you rolled under 25, that's a 25% chance you made it. So how would you do that? Normally, you wouldn't use this fucking thing, because one, there's no chance that this is a fair die. Because this is fucking... What the fuck? And so I just keep this because it's ridiculous. It is campy. It's funny to me. The real way you do it is you roll 2 10-sided dice. These are 10s. And damn this autofocus. Should have thought this through. So one of these has like a tens digit, and one of these has just a singles digit. And so you roll them both on camera, preferably. And so, this is a 30 and this is an 8. So you rolled a 38, and that's over 25, so I would fail, for instance. So there's that. This is a 4-sided die. It has a little pyramid. In this case, the number on the bottom is the number that you rolled, so this would be a 2. In some cases, the number on top would be the number that you rolled. Let me see if I can find one like that. Oh, jeez. Number on top. Where? I'm only finding the ugly examples. Come on. Fours. Why are there no fours? Ah, fuck it. Sometimes there's ones on top. There's probably one in here that I'm not finding. I got a gift set in here, and I should actually not be keeping these along with the others, because these are actually kind of semi-precious. These are dice that are made of jade. These are actually kind of valuable. They are valuable. So these are actually really cool. They're almost like in Spinal Tap. They're like no, they can't be played. I don't think I should be rolling these, because they might get damaged. I don't know. I think they're decorative dice only. I think they're more dice to be meditated upon. They're very cool though, so I'm very grateful for these. I don't know if I should be using these. I have not actually used them though, but I don't think I should be associating these with the common dice. If I ever play Legend of the Five Rings, though, the jade dice will be used. I will use them very gently in a felt tray, So there's that. I have a lot of different game science dice. I have several different sets. There's like little translucent sapphire sets. I have a lot of. Actually, I think the game science people call them ugly dice themselves. So there's the green set. There's the angry orange set. So stuff like that. Here's a weird one. I don't know when I will ever use it. This is a 5-sided dice. So you're going to see a lot of very strange dice as we go along. And no, I have no clue when I would ever use this. But I'm sure there are games that would use this. And as a DM, you could... Actually, I can right now. There are times when... You do half damage. For instance, like if you do a D10 damage, you can save for half. So if there's ever a trap or a spell that does D10 and you save for half damage, you could just roll this. I guess that makes sense. Although sometimes you'd roll down. I don't know. So here's another one that's kind of funny. This is called a bone dice. I guess that's just the brand. It's a 6-sided die. It's just kind of shaped funny. So I think it's like a knuckle bone die. I just kind of keep this around. I think I had more. I used to have 4. I just rolled it in the corner pocket. So yeah, those are my dice. I'm gonna put these over to the side here, and now we're gonna go to some of the other dice. Actually, I'm gonna show you some of the ugly dice, the dice that I personally hate. So I'm going to go to actually the prototypical dice that I basically chewed a guy out for using. I was like, never bring these dice to my table again. These are them. Look at these dice. This is from, like, if you're the one rolling them. You can't read these dice. These are black and like white speckled dice. They're like marble dice, okay, with red lettering. Fuck these dice. I'm gonna zoom in and like look at it. Look at the fucking. These are impossible. And this is the 20-sided die. This is the one you're gonna read all the fucking time. Oh, this is the D4 with the number on top. All right, so like you read this fucking die, right here. Good luck with that. Now try being like on the other side of the table and reading that. God damn this! Like this fucking die, and God, I hated this set. If you were more than like a few feet away, never mind. And so I was looking online for more dice like this that would just infuriate me, and there was this one. So you'll pardon me if I can't find my light here, so to speak. There's this one, which is black with gold numbering. I know there was a lot of dice like this that were made by it's called Chessex, and the numbers have faded just a little bit, but God, this good fuck. I hate that one. There was this set that a lot of these were made by I noticed were made by Q Workshop. These are a little better than most, but like gold numbers on pink. Yeah, no thanks. Now some of these are going to get really bad. These, I actually kind of like the color scheme, but like I don't know why they chose silver numbers that just blend in with the vomit yellow. I think they're called like toxic dice. You know what I mean? Like, they're horrible. Cause, I mean, you can read them now, but then I pull out right here. No, this isn't happening. You know, my God. And then there's this one. You don't even know what kind of die that is, do you? Like, I'm going to go back to this one, but that's a three-sided die. There's no chance. You are so fucked trying to read this die, even if you're the one rolling it. No. Here comes the worst ones. I had no idea dice could get this bad. Actually, no. Here's the second worst ones. Here we go. I hate clear dice. They don't even. These aren't even the worst ones. But clear dice. Fuck these. No. Now, some people complain that there's clear dice with clear numbers. They don't get the point. You're supposed to fill those numbers in. But even then, these are impossible. You know, like this is a 20-sided die. What did I just roll? You don't... Fuck. I can't even... That's a 2. I don't... Fuck. Don't ever bring these. Don't. Now comes the worst ones. I will fucking kill you if you ever bring these. Look at this. Look at this shit. This is Z Workshop. No. Fuck you. Fuck you in the ear. This gets worse. Look at it. Fuck you. I think this is either like Elven or like fucking Call of Cthulhu dice. I can't remember. Fuck the elves and fuck Cthulhu. Because, like, you're going to go into, like, a fucking insanity. You're going to lose D20 sanity trying to read this shit. Like, here. Look, read this shit. Read this D20. Fucking read it. You can't read that. Try to read that. I'll zoom in. Read that. You can't fucking read that. Pfft, good luck. I will fucking kill you. You bring that shit to my table. God damn it. Like, I don't even know what the fuck this is. Yeah, right. You're like, yeah, this is so... I'm right here and I could... That's a 10. I thought that was a 1. Oh my God. Don't ever... Oh my God, don't ever bring these. Don't ever bring... I will jump the table and strangle you with your own lungs. Ugh. Oh my God, here's another one. Oh, no. Ugh. God. All right. I'm going to go play with some good dice. Okay. Now, here's some unusual dice that were actually going to be fun. Hang on, let me fix the camera. Okay. Now we're going to show you some good ones. All right, so let me zoom in here. You want to see some good dice. All right, this is a 3-sided die. Unfortunately, it's a really hard one to read, but I'm going to show you a good one. So this is 3. And yeah, it's like a little triangle, or actually I don't know what a pyramid kind of thing. Yeah, this is a toxic vomit colored one, 1 to 3. Here's a clearer one, opal colored, and you'll notice it has R, S, and P on it. And it also has 1, 2, and 3. Why does it have R, S, and P on it? Rock, paper, scissors. That's ingenious. Why do 1, 2, and 3? Well, reasons. You do half of a d6. There's a lot of times in D&D when you do half of a d6, save for half. I can't think of any dice that use exclusively d3s, but they exist. By far the most common dice used in RPGs are d6s, and d6s are so common that they're in virtually every board game. These were the dice I used for a long time. Ever since I played AD&D, I used these. I played Wizards all the time, and these were my fireball dice. Because they're fiery and they look like fire. So I had a bunch of these. I think I had like 6. I can't find the other one. But yeah, I've since retired these. They put in a lot of years of service, but they have a lot of history. I had a whole set, so. That's the D20. I love that one. D6s, there's a lot of unusual kinds of D6s. I hate these. Never use electronic dice in my presence. Again, these are another excuse where I will kill you. But these were actually kind of a fad for a little while, at least where I was. So that's how you would use them. Very annoying and kitschy. And they took forever. Yeah. There was always one person who brought these, and they thought they were so cool. Yeah. They're like, I'm sciencey. Beep, 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 beep. It is kind of Price is Righty, so I guess there is that kind of thing where, I'm gonna spin the wheel of savings. Whee! It's like Shadowrun. If you sold me on that, I might let you use them. It's like, I'm gonna go into the Matrix. Maybe? I kind of want to play with them now. No. Okay, shut up now. These, if you want to talk fair dice, this is not the way to go. You're not going to sell me on these. These are round dice. I don't know when they'll ever stop. I don't know if I can even roll these on camera. They will stop. I just don't know. I wonder if they ever... Yeah, I guess they will settle on a side. Yeah, I guess... Well, yeah, they will. I've never used these. I was kind of intrigued by them, but yeah, I don't know, I gotta wonder at the accuracy of these things, if they're even remotely close to being fair. Ugh. I don't know, I guess there's really not that much wrong with them. So, yeah, there's that. This is a D2. D2. Heads or tails? Yes. This exists. And actually, if you want to get strictly speaking, I think they could classify this as a D1. Because strictly speaking, it's binary. This is actually kind of an interesting one. I really like this. I like dice that have kind of Dungeon Master utility to them. Good luck autofocus. This has a challenge rating on it. It says, challenge 0, challenge -2, challenge +2. So as a DM, whenever you do an encounter, you roll this die, and it comes up with a result. So this one says challenge +1. So this means that you randomly make the challenge a little harder, or in this case, the random encounter might be a little easier on them. So it throws in, the challenge is as normal. So sometimes you throw in a little bit of a fate into the encounter. So, or maybe in the case of not just a random encounter, but in the case of maybe a lock or a trap or something like that. In case so if he wants to pick a lock, it might be a little easier or harder than just kind of an average lock. So ordinarily a lock would be like, a challenge rating, he would have to roll a 15, but in this case, if you rolled a +2, it'd be a 17. So I really like this one. I was shopping around for kind of unique dice, and I found this one. And I'm going to use this one. I like that one a lot. This one slays me. The heads or tails one. Sometimes it's just too bothersome to carry around a quarter. This is much more practical. This one, I got nothing. This is a D7. Seriously. Yeah. So, yeah, I honestly, I don't even know how to read it. This, that's what came up. So it's a 2? Yeah, it's a 2. So, 2 green pips came up. So then 5, and then 4, 2, 4, 4, 4, 7. So, yeah, D7. Yeah, I guess it's a really cheap way to roll craps. Wow. 10s. D10s are a long-standing tradition. Some games make use of D10s exclusively. 10s are... The reason you use 10s mainly is to roll percentiles, as I explained before. So D100s. White Wolf games, like Vampire the Masquerade, Werewolf, use 10s just for successes and failures. There's that. So these are 10s. They go from 1 to 0, really. 0 usually being 10. These are kind of funny in that, usually you have there's for 100s you have one being the 10 spot and one being the single spot. These I found, this is a D10,000. So you can indeed have a roll over 9,000 because there's the 1,000 spot. There's the I'm sorry about the autofocus. I'm kind of doing a one-man show here. That's the 1,000 spot. There's the 100 spot, and the 10s, and the singles. So yes, you can in fact roll over 9,000. Why you would want to roll a 10,000 result? No clue. But now you have the option. And yes, if you want to do it at home without this, you could just roll 4 different colored 10-sided dice. But hey, now you can do it. You can do it with the actual official dice. Those exist. My favorite D10, you're going to love this. The D10 of the 10 Commandments. I could not make this up. I'm just going to let this one soak in for you. Honor your parents, people. Now, there's so many questions that spring to mind when one owns a die that has the 10 Commandments printed on it. What circumstances would you roll a 10 Commandments dice? Which one of the 10 Commandments will I break today? Have no idols. Well, looks like I'm gonna have to go build myself a giant golden cow. Doop-de-doop-de-doo. What about you, Tom? Well, let's see. Honor God's name. Time to commit some blasphemy. God damn it. Whee! I'm gonna covet some shit. I love your wife. You want to swap, Dave? That's right, folks. I own a 10 Commandments die, and you don't. How about that? I'm going to leave this on camera here, just so you can admire it there. Now we have some. We're getting some crazy. Oh, this one's cool. I like this one. This one is kind of simple, but it actually has a lot of utility. This is a D8 just with some compass directions on it. Again, this is one for the DM, mainly. Why would you use this? It's mainly for... there are quite a few adventures where the players are just kind of exploring. This is kind of a lost art in RPGs, where there used to be a lot of adventure modules that are just kind of meant for the players to kind of run around and explore the map, that are a lot less structured. So it's kind of reliant on the players to kind of use just the kind of natural navigation skills. So oftentimes the players are called upon to basically map their own route. So they kind of have to use their own direction sense. And so if they get lost, they stray from the path. And so they kind of randomly might go in any given direction before they orient themselves. And so it's really easy to just roll a d8 and kind of determine from there which direction they go. It's fairly obvious. But it's kind of fun to have this die to determine, this one just tells you which direction they kind of stray off to. So, which way do they go? Well, they kind of stray to the northeast. It's kind of a fun little die that lets you do that. So I like that one. This one, this is a critical hit location die. Again, this one is overly simplistic, but it's also kind of fun. So this one is the left arm. So determining where there's a critical location when you roll a 20. Crits are also something that lately have been very much abstracted out of RPGs. So left foot, things like that, torso. You don't really see critical hit locations anymore in modern RPGs, mainly because it's really just kind of boiled down to hit points. Critical hits kind of take too long, and you don't really see the result of any kind of like limbs or maiming or anything like that. It's almost like too violent. RPGs are kind of watered down nowadays, so you don't really see anything like this anymore. It's hard to adjudicate. So it's basically just become like double damage or triple damage or stuff like that. And also when it comes to critical hits, this is overly simplistic in the sense that it's not equally likely that you're going to hit someone's left foot as their face. So this is kind of a fun idea when you're trying to do like a quick and dirty critical hit thing, but it's too simple. So I don't really like that. This one's also kind of fun. I like this one a lot. Focus. That'll sell. This is just a D12 that has all the various character classes on it. So it's it's got cleric, rogue, paladin, whatever that is. What's a paladin? Bard, one of my favorites. So it's got all the character classes, and it even says roll again or choose. So if you can't determine what you want to play, you roll or roll on camera. So I just got fighter. Sometimes you just want fate to decide what you want to roll. So I kind of like that one. It's cool. This is one of my favorites. When I was, I've had this one for a few months actually. So this is one I've wanted to crack out for a while. This is a random dungeon generator die. Very simple. And not one I'd want to rely on for a while, but this is like a quick and dirty dungeon that you can use if you just want to kind of fill in the nooks and crannies of a dungeon. So every now and then, if you just want to kind of randomly build the halls and rooms of a building, or the hall, like if they want to go somewhere and there's like a cave or like a small building or something like that, you roll. They go through a cavern. They go through a passageway, and you roll. And if they, the side that comes up, that's what they find. So they get a little room like this, and that's what you draw. So you get. Isn't this cool? Right? You get that. This is one that. Can you figure this out? Take a minute. So you've got this. It goes from 1 to 12, right? And then you got this one. It goes from, you got 0, 0, you got 35, 25, 15, 55, 40, 25, 10. These go together. No? It's a random time dice. So this, you determine what time. It's just if you're rolling time. So I just rolled 135. That's what it does. AM or PM, that's up to you. I guess. No, I know what you roll the coin flip. So I rolled a 2, so it's PM. It's 1:35 PM. Yeah, that's what it is. So I guess if this has its use, if you want to determine when something happens and any time's as good as any, you roll 135. Yeah, so sometimes, this, you got me, man. I was just shopping around for unusual dice, and this is what I came up with. This is a D14. Focus, come on. Come on. Yeah, it's a 14-sided die. Game science, too, by the way. Wait, it's not 4, D16, I think. Let me make sure. Yeah, 16. I got no clue. I would actually say, I almost want to say in the case you'd roll 2d8, but then it goes from 1 to 16, so no idea. Maybe game science makes this, so I would want to say it can't be that uncommon, but I have never heard of this in my life. Yeah, I'm stumped on that one. This one, I'm not going to hit the lights, but this one is just a D20 that glows in the dark. I don't know when you'd be ever playing in the dark, but yeah. How would you see your character sheet? I don't know. Oh, God. Here's more of these. The one with the blue numbers, not so bad. This one, fuck this. Ugh. This is another one. This isn't horrible, but this is pretty bad. This is a 30-sided die, I think. Is it? Pretty sure. Yeah, 30-sided. Don't know. 30. Actually, I know there is a game that uses 30, but it doesn't. It can't think of it. Very uncommon if there is one. What die is this? I think this is a 24-sided die. Yep. Again, you got me. No clue. Another game science one, so I'm sure you'll enlighten me. I found this one a little while ago, so this is another one maybe for a random time, 24 hours in the day. Again, as a DM, I might be able to come up with something just for a kind of a weird damage roll, maybe. Although, having something with a range of 1 to 24, that would be kind of strange. Not sure about this one. I'd have to get kind of creative on this. Don't know. Let's see. This one is one of the most bizarre. It's a dreidel. No, this is a D50. I have no idea. Let me try. How would you read this? Wow, maybe you spin it. No, because then it... 29? Well, I don't see how, because it's only... if you spin it in one direction, it's only going to come up on that one side. I don't know. Clearly, I'm not educated in the ways of the 50-sided die. Yeah, it's only going to come up on that side, unless I have to, fling it. But I don't see how that... No, I can't see how that works. Well, hang on. So, it's got, it's, spaced out here. I just bought this recently, so I don't know. It's kind of spaced out here. The numbers, here. I'm trying to find the 50 here. Maybe, if I can figure out how it's spaced. Might explain it, because they're not spaced, like it goes from 1, 0, so the spacing might be significant. Where's the 50? Let's see. I don't see the 50. Other side? It's probably here, I'm just looking past it. Very strange. Got no clue with this one. What would you ever use a 50-sided die for? You know, I don't think there is a 50 on this. Where the fuck? Again, I'm sure you'll tell me. Wow. This is one of the weirdest ones next to the 10 Commandments die. No, how would you roll this? I don't want to roll this on the pool table because I damage it. This is like a felt ripper. Do you spin it or what? Maybe well, maybe it's this. Ooh, that might be it. That might be it. Hang on. Let me try this. I don't know, it's fun though. Hang on. 20. The number on top is 26. So, yay? Yeah, 26. Okay. That's okay. Yeah. I know this isn't throwing. And now it's 39. Victory. That's the D50. Let's see. And now I'm going to get to... these. These are actually some of my favorites. I didn't think I would like these, but I do. I think the ones... I think it was... there's a game I found very recently called Burning Wheel. I believe... These are used for a lot of games, but I think it was Burning Wheel that I just recently discovered these. They're called fudge dice. Stupid name, very cool dice. They're 6-sided dice, but they don't have numbers on them. They have a plus and a minus and a blank side. And they're very simple, but at the same time they're a lot of fun because it's kind of an elegant system. What you do is you roll them and then you look at the results and you add the pluses, you ignore the blanks, and then you subtract the minuses. So I have just pluses, so that's very good. That means I succeeded, and I succeeded very well. But, so let's say I did something else, and so I take all the pluses, which are none, I take these away, and this means I got nothing but minuses, which means I botched, essentially. So that was very bad. So, that means I got nothing but... I got 2 minuses. I botched really bad. So I'm trying to get a different result here. I did really good. And, okay, here's a different result. This means I got a plus and a minus, meaning essentially that, the plus and the minus cancel each other out, meaning I got basically nothing. And this can mean a lot of things. So when I'm doing a task, say, let's say I'm trying to fix a radio. This means basically depending on the task, if there's kind of nothing at stake, like there's no real penalty for failure, let's say it means basically, yeah, I fixed the radio, I didn't do anything great or fantastic one way or the other, I fixed the radio, or if I did a net result of this, I managed to blow up the radio, or I blew a fuse or something like that, or if I did a net result of this, I actually improved the radio or something like that, or if I did a net result of 2 negatives, I burned the house down or something like that. So that's what fudge dice are. And it actually is a kind of deceptively elegant solution to role-playing games. More so even than I think the 20-sided dice type thing, where you kind of have to do a lot of kind of mental math. And it may seem like a silly thing. It's not that hard to do the math, high dice good, high roll good, low roll bad. But still, it's actually very easy to just, at a glance, know not only that you succeeded, but how well you succeeded, or if you failed, but how badly you failed. Because it's just you just cancel, you can easily just cancel out the good and bad dice, and then you have an instant, you have an instant result. And I think it's really, really clever at, how immediate you get this result. It's very, very cool, I think. I really like Burning Wheel, not only for its character creation, but for its use of fudge dice. I actually have a lot of respect now for games that use fudge dice. Really, really like these. So, there's that. Now I'm going to do one of the weirdest dice that I've ever seen in my life. And it actually, I'm stunned by this. It won what's called an Origins Award, which is kind of it's an award for, like, gaming. It's like board games, RPGs, gaming magazines and stuff like that. So this is like the universal die. This is the D Total, again by Game Science. This is the 18 dice in one, and this is the fucking weirdest die, again, next to the 10 Commandments die, that I've ever seen. This basically does, this allegedly does, every single die that you could ever want to roll in one die. So I think it's a 24-sided die. Yeah, it's a 24-sided die that kind of mathematically replicates the die roll of every single die that you could possibly want to do. So it comes with a sheet that kind of explains how and why it does this. So let me see if I can explain how this works. So it was made by in 2005, Dr. A.F. Simkin mailed a beautifully handcrafted prototype of a new 24-sided shape to Louis Zaki. He explained if this shape were produced, he could generate an imprinting pattern that would allow the die to simulate the rolling pattern of 7 other shapes. At the same time, Kevin Cook, who holds the Guinness World Record for having the world's largest dice collection, was telling Zaki about a new 24-sided die shape he had received from France. Zaki asked Frank Dutrain, the Frenchman owning the 24-sided die mold, to send him a sample. When he arrived, it was the same shape Dr. Simkin had chosen for his D-Total project. So, let's see. It can generate outcomes for every shape up to 24 using Dr. Simkin's idea of ignoring numbers which are not applicable. To simulate the result of a D23, just re-roll if you get a 24. For a D21, re-roll if you get a 22, 23, or 24. Okay. Let's see. So, it's got this handy chart. Okay, so it's amazing. And it tells you how to interpret the various die rolls. So, I will now explain the various... It starts off with a D2. Yes, I'm serious. Wow. Okay, so I will roll. This is the face that has come up. Let me see if I can focus it up here. You have to hold it up so... Shit. I hate the autofocus. God damn it. Whatever. Okay, so... I'll try to... I hate this lens. I'm trying to center it. Okay. So, in the middle of the face, there is a number between 1 and 24. If 12 or less... The D2 has rolled a 1. If 13 or higher, the result is a 2. Wow. For a D3, the number of pips in the 3 o'clock position is the D3 result. It's a 3. Let's go to a new one. Okay. Let's see, I gotta turn it face up. I can't interpret the face up. The perspective is killing me. Okay, fuck it. Okay. There we go. Okay, we've now rolled a new one. D4. The result lies in the triangle. See? D4. It's that simple. Damn you, autofocus. The D5. The result is the Roman numeral at 5 o'clock. If you can ever see it. Yeah. Okay. The D6. The result is in the square. At the D7, because we totally need a D7. At 7 o'clock, there may be a number. 1 to 7. There may be a number between the square and the diamond shapes. If there's not a number, re-roll to get the D7 result. Oh my god. So if you don't remember that, if you're looking for a D7 result and you roll, and you're like, where's the D7? I can't, what? Hang on a second, I have to get the chart. D8, there's a diamond. Okay. Alright, let's see. Alright, new one, okay. D10, in the middle of the face, there's a number. 1 to 24. Okay, man, the autofocus now works. Roll until it lands on a 1 to 20, and use the final digit for the 1 to 10 result. As in, a roll of 5 or 15 is considered a 5. A roll of 10 or 20 is considered a 10. A D20, the result is the number in the center of the face. D24, the middle of the number of the face is the D24 result. D30, oh my god. This is the D30. You ready for this? Okay, D30. Use the D3 pips result. Hang on. The D3 pips result for the first digit. Then re-roll using the D10 method for the second digit. Remember, the D10 method is using the second number of the 20-sided. Oh my god. Okay, now, if you need to roll a D40, use the D4 triangle for the first digit. Then re-roll using the D10 method. D50. And I gotta admit, this is easier than actually using the real D50. Because I still have no idea how you're supposed to use the real D50. Wow. The real D50 still puzzles me. Come on. Whatever. Yeah, the real D50 is amazing. Yeah, you can read it with me. The D60, D70, D80, and D100. That's amazing. Oh my god. This is the 24 dice in one. So, you know, if weight is a concern, this is really light. This is one of the lightest dice. This is seriously like, this is heavier. This is lighter than this. This is lighter than this. Wow. These are about the same weight. This might be lighter than this. This is seriously like, this is like just a thin. Wow, this is like the width of. I could seriously like crush this in my hand. I gotta be careful with this. Like, if I were to roll this too hard, it would explode. Actually, that does remind me of a story. There are dice that are like really, really big, like D20s that are like the size of like basically the size of a cue ball. You know, don't roll those. Those will actually like damage a table. Like, I don't know why people bring those, because they're really hard to roll. You actually got to put some weight behind them if you want to roll them at all. But I actually saw one split open, but it didn't split open as it was rolling. because like I said, they have like weight to them. They have a significant amount of weight. But it didn't split open like as he like threw it. When it hit the table, it didn't just break open when it hit the table. It rolled and it went roll, 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 and so it finished rolling. It actually finished rolling, okay, and then when it stopped rolling, it came up with a number, stopped, and then went pop. Like it was the weirdest thing. It was almost like the Blues Brothers. When the Blues Brothers reached the end of they reached City Hall and then stopped. They get out. And then the car just goes, and it split in half. So he was rolling this to hit roll. I forget who did it actually. I can't remember. But yeah, he rolls this to hit roll, and I don't think any of us actually saw what he rolled. But he finished rolling, it stopped, and he just. So the DM actually was like, crit. So he was like, it didn't matter what he rolled, because he was like, if you roll so hardcore the die explodes, crit. So there's that. So yeah, so this is a D5. No clue on that one. So end of story. My favorite dice are the fudge dice. Just out of sheer batshit crazy. I may actually have to carry this one in the rare event I need to roll a D80 or a D70. Who knows? May come up. There may be a day I need to carry the 10 Commandments dice with me in case I have my choice of which one I need to break. Because there's 10 to choose from, I can't decide. This actually is by far my favorite. These are weird to me. I don't know why you would bring these. I don't know if you've. I know some of you have seen these, but these are just weird. Yeah, have you ever seen these? These are like dice within dice. Like, yo dog, I heard you like dice, so I put dice in dice so you can roll dice while rolling dice. Like, why would you need to do this? Like, there's a D20 inside your D20, but you can't read the D. You'd have to. Now you have to like. This is another one where you got to like lord over your dice, and like, I can't read this. Why would you need a D12 inside your D12? I don't get this. Like, okay, there's a 4 in my 12. Like, this I get. This is a D10 within the D10. Like, okay. This is actually kind of slick for a D100. This is in no way like a fair roll because this is hardly moving, the one inside. It's not moving like at all. It's like, in fact, it's hardly moving. Like, you'd be lucky if this ever even changed position. But like, okay, fine. This, why would you never use this? A D20? Like, I don't get this. This, fuck this. I just don't get this. Like the nested. The only ones I could ever see using are the D10s. And even then, this is stupid. Let's see. This one I like just because I am actually one of the more indecisive guys when it comes to like rolling what class. Although I say that, but I almost always roll either like a thief or a mage. I don't know. The Dungeon Generation die, I really like that one. I could have sworn I had one that determined what the weather was. Oh, here's another one I really hate. I know a lot of people use these, but I don't like them. These are called crystal dice, and they're not crystal, but they're shaped really weird. Okay, they're shaped like cylinders or like it's like crystariums. I'll hold one up. It's like they're like cylindrical, right? And they have numbers. So this is a D20, and it's not like obviously it's not like like the I think it's like dodecahedron or whatever. So it's obviously not like that. It's shaped like this. Okay, so it's got numbers on the different faces, and you roll it like that, and it comes up on top. And this is another one where like you can't read it unless you put your head directly over it. So And it's impossible for the DM to see what's going on, and it's impossible for anyone next to you, and even you have to put your head right over it. And this is another one where it's actually really, this is one where the die doesn't stop if you put any kind of weight behind it. So like you roll it and it just keeps going. So like, and I actually had to roll it really gently. That's a 20. So you actually probably saw that. And this is one of the better ones. Actually, you know what? No, it's not. Because this is almost like perfectly round. Usually the ones I've seen have much more pronounced edges. This one is like perfectly smooth. Yeah, if I put any kind of speed behind this, yeah, this one would go. I didn't even like put any wrist. Yeah, wow. So other ones kind of have a little more edge to them. Like this is a 10. This is a 6, but I just don't like these. Some of these, like the smaller ones, like this is a 12. You can see the number a little easier, so they're not as bad. But like these, it's even hard to tell what kind of die it is. So like, it sounds silly, but like if I were to tell you roll a d10, and you're like, okay. Or roll damage or roll initiative, and you're like, okay, I need a d10 like real fast. Which one is it? And you're trying to look, and like quick, which one am I looking for? I don't know. And so you sometimes you pick the wrong one. Even when it's clear, even when it's the polygons are more clear. Or the shapes are more clear, between the D8 and the D10 and the D12 even when it's clear, I've seen people pick the wrong ones. How fucked are you now when you've got this shape and this shape and this shape and this shape all lined up? I've actually seen people for entire games roll the 8 instead of rolling the 10. I've seen it. I swear to God I have. And so like just at a quick glance, these suck. They suck for the players. So don't ever bring these. I hate these. The crystal dice are just bad. Some of these are okay, like the 6. They're okay, but even these, I don't like the way they roll. Just in terms of fairness, and this in terms of fairness, I'm like, you may think I'm bitching like for me, but they cheat you. Like, when you want to roll damage, they cheat you. They're not good, and I don't like the way they roll, because if you fuck up the rolling, like if you flip them like this. By the way, I got to show you rolling technique. I'm gonna cut back to just kind of rolling technique, because I don't like the way some of you roll. You're not doing it right. In fact, I'm gonna show you right now. Yeah, I'm gonna show you rolling technique right now. So there are several right ways and wrong ways to roll your dice. I hate the way some people roll them. This is the worst way that people roll dice, okay? And you know who they are, okay? This is how some people roll their dice, okay? So let me find a d20, okay? This is it. This is how some people do it. Fuck you. Fuck you if you roll your dice like this. That's a pussy's roll. What the fuck is that?
I want to play the warlock. Great choice, Adam. You got 180 IQ, 18 stamina.
And a 7 charisma. That's the highest score I've ever seen. You couldn't have done much better than that, Adam.
You gotta put some effort into it, or like this. Limp-wristed shit. God damn it! You gotta put some forearm into it, or the palm drop. Come on! I hate the palm drop. Gravity. You roll like a girl. I've seen girls roll better than that. It's not even a girly thing. That's rolling like a pussy. There's a difference. Like, you gotta roll. There's several ways you gotta roll like a casino hot shot. You gotta put some arm into it. Roll off the table if you have to. That just means you get to roll again. You know what I mean? So like, just fucking, you gotta own it, you know? So there's lots of ways to do it. I like to mix it up. So there's you gotta just fire it, you know? That's why the DM has a shield. You gotta fire the fucker off the shield. So, wrist it off there, you know? That's why I got bumpers on the pool table. Bam! You fire it off there. Or, I'm actually a fan. I actually like to do the top spin. I fire it off like that. So, that one's kind of inaccurate. It's wild. It's out there. Fringe. I like to call it the English technique. Fire it off like that. There's other ways to do it. I'm sure you've all got some techniques out there. You like to share it. But yeah, you gotta shoot it off like there. You ever see that episode of Next Generation where Data likes to kind of snap his fingers and throw it off like that? You gotta shoot it like you're playing craps. It puts emotion into it. Like that, because it's just when you're playing D&D, you gotta put some. You don't think, feel. It's so boring because it's like it shouldn't be work when you're playing D&D. You should not be like droning. Like combat should not be. What am I rolling? Come on! I'm gonna hit this motherfucker! Yeah! I'm gonna throw my fucking spear at him! Fuck! That's what I'm talking about! Come on! Like, here we go. Like, how much damage does my fucking fireball do? I'm gonna get my fucking D6s out. Come on! Yes! 12! That's what I'm talking about. You gotta put some emotion into this. Come on. Don't do... 7. I got one more die to show you. You're gonna love this. Won't lie. Kinda got some use out of this lately. But I'm gonna leave you with this one. So yeah, kinda has something to do with emotion here, but yeah. So it's got some got them things you might want to try. Come on. Oh. Well, you get the gist. It could come up with a few more sides on it. But, yeah. I call it the Kama Sutra die. It's got 12 unique positions for her pleasure and yours. Until next time, this one you won't have any problem rolling it with some passion. So, until next time, roll it like you want to, and roll it like you mean it.